Let's talk gang life in the United States. Gang life in the United States. I look at gang life as far as black Americans primarily as neglect from the government, from the people who govern society. Because these gangsters, especially today and in recent years, virtually all of them were traumatized. Virtually all of them. So how do you, kind of point the finger at traumatized children? This article surfaced, I think, maybe last year. Doesn't matter a year on here. That was a good article. November 3rd. Yeah, no year. Troubled teens and triggers. What causes violent behaviors? Teenagers act the way they do for a reason, it says. Even if a teen doesn't know why. The actions stem from reactions to earlier events. Childhood trauma. See, that's basically what this article is about. Behind violent actions, you can just look at the headlines. Stress causes strong reactions. Trauma can lead to violence. And then it ends. It's all about how the youth becomes violent because of childhood trauma. And the black community is not dealt with in that way. I'm telling you, it's like society automatically places black Americans, especially when it comes to the males, in a non-human category. Everybody else is dealt with accordingly. Especially when you're talking about child violence, except for black Americans. So, what am I talking about? Let's take, for example, some of the most notorious gangsters, killers. King Von. King Von is said to have start bringing guns to school at like 13 years old. Had witnessed killings at an extremely young age. I believe before he was even 10 years old. The same for a lot of these gangsters. Many of them had seen people had been killed before they were even 10 years old. What am I supposed to think about a scenario like that? Other than that's very unfortunate and that's a traumatized, and yeah, they eventually went on to be killers themselves. Yeah, that makes sense. It's seen as a success story if they go on to college and don't have a criminal record and live a quote normal life. But at the earliest years, King Von was traumatized. Now, I do believe that he was possessed by a demon, as even he admitted. I do believe he was demonically possessed, that he had a lot of negative energy inside of him. It's the same goes for all of the gang members, unfortunately. Because when you become a part of a gang, instantly you got a bunch of enemies. Then you got to throw down their set, so on and so forth. So you have to instantly start to handle negative energy towards other people for no reason, just because they're part of a different set or gang. But notice how his aggression wasn't indiscriminate. He wasn't attacking random black people. He was targeting specific black people. And it wasn't just because they were rival gang members. This started because they had jumped him on a bus. From what I understand, that's what this started from. That's what this stemmed from. A bunch of people who was involved in jumping him were the ones that he is said to have taken out. Modell, right? He wanted everybody who had something to do with it. And he was, may have been involved in some other stuff. He had different dust-ups. Of course, once you get started, it's easy to take somebody out for whatever reason. But this started, he first got locked up, I think he was 15 years old. By that time, he's already been in, I don't know how many fights, I don't know how many people killed, his family members, his father, killed by a sniper. Look, I don't know what it's like to grow up like that. That's just what it is. That's traumatic. And y'all don't need it. If y'all ain't lived like this, it's hard to point the finger. It's hard to say, hey, you're a horrible person. Is that what we supposed to say about these youths? King Von, one of the most notorious gangsters, focused on a specific street as well, because he was hunting down certain people. Right on 63rd, St. Lawrence. I assume everybody know the story, the backstory. Targeting specific people, even tweeting them, tweeting FBG Duck, like, where you at? He was tweeting Duck, like, where you at? I'm out here, I don't see you. Now, I'm emphasizing the fact that the gang violence that people talk about is usually extremely personal. People do get hit in the crossfire, but it's usually personal dust-ups. Von wanted revenge. They would understand they was trying to kill him. And I thought, what was he, only like 15 years old? They was trying to kill him, try to pull him off the bus. Somebody had the Roscoe. Now, you see all this death before you 10 years old. You just got a crazy life. And then somebody try and take you out. Yeah, it don't surprise me that he started stalking and targeting those involved, in their affiliates. Not saying that anybody deserved that. None of them should have been killed. This, like I said, this is all unfortunate. It's demonic, and they need to stop killing each other. But again, these is all extremely traumatized youths. K.I., another one. I don't know the backstory to all of them, but as a child, prepubescent, she was seeing people getting their heads blown out. That don't qualify as a traumatic experience. This is my problem. People don't deal with Black Americans, males and females, like they do other people. Right? We don't get the same consideration. Oh, yeah. It don't matter. We can't get traumatized. We don't experience trauma. I guess at 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old, we adults. That's how they look at it. We're actually adults by then. And if you look at these videos, these documentaries, that's how they're portrayed, as if they're these gladiator, gangster, classic, historic gladiator gangsters that took no mess all their life, starting from age 12. These kids jumping off the porch, by the time they 14, got multiple bodies. That don't qualify as traumatized children, youth. And this is facilitated, and was the seeds for stuff like this to happen was planted by the people who govern society. I question the people falling for the traps and the people who set the traps. You coons only want to point at the victims falling for the traps. They put stuff in place and set stuff in motion that they didn't for other people. Why is it acceptable for us to be just like everybody else despite things put in our way to stifle us? That's that slave mentality. People think it's just acceptable for people to just do negative stuff to us and F with us. No, that ain't going down. It ain't going down. I'm pointing the finger at both of you. But Vaughn, he, especially after he got jumped on the bus, he needed a father figure at that time, a proper father figure to keep him from reacting like that. And FBG Duck needed a proper father figure because he was a big bully. And that's what this all stemmed from. FBG Duck was a big bully. We're going to come back to that. Now, as you all know, I'm Black American. Listen, I went to high school with like all Chicago dudes. Spent a good 2 solid years. And this was in Job Corps in Ohio. First, and this was in the mid-90s, 94, 95. First Job Corps was in Cleveland. Then there was a bunch of riots there. And we got sent to different Job Corps. I got sent to Dayton, Ohio. In both Job Corps, it's about 500-600 people there. About 90% of them was from Chicago. I don't know why, but about 90% of them was from Chicago. I was with and was roommates with Gangster Disciples from Killer Ward, where King Von grew up. The people I was with was from the 79th and Ashland area. And it was weird because a lot of them, you don't get to pick your roommate. They pick it for you. So you might get some Gangster Disciples in a room with a vice lord, with a peace stone. But you know what they did? They like, look, we together now. Because if we together, something go down, you got my back, you better, right? I got your back, you better have my back, type of thing. Outside of, being roommates, they click with their own, sets and whatnot. But I'm saying I knew these people that I'm talking about. It was from a different era. It was kind of different back then in the 90s. But you almost forced into gangs because everybody's in it. Everybody's in it. Like the people the people you grow up with, your cousins, your family, the older people, your uncles, your parents. They're in a gang. How you not going to be in one? You going to school or your schoolmates, maybe the whole school is one set. Maybe your whole block is one set or something. How you not going to be in a gang? You almost already in a gang, just hanging with them, living around them. Remember, Chicago is a packed city. So it's hard to just not be in a gang and live like an angel in these communities. And you need protection. You don't just want to be no neutron out here. You get bullied and slapped up every day. More traumatic situations. But back to this story. FBG Duck was a big bully who needed a proper father figure. From the time he was young, and this is like I think 2011 when he was like 17, 18. Every video, photo I've ever seen, this dude towers over everybody. Everybody. I don't know how tall he was. They say 6'5", 6'6". But he had said he used to go over to Parkway Gardens, fight, to fight in high school. And that's how they grew up. They grow up real young, 15, 14, 15, fighting other sets in school. They go through school fighting, then they get old enough. Now it's time to use, something else. When that's all you know. So, you know how many of these youth growing up traumatized like that? But you're not supposed to look at black Americans like that. Oh, they're not humans. You see, that's what it is. That's what it is. We don't get the human privilege. We don't get the perks that other humans get. They don't look at us the same. I look at these gang members who, involved in this lifestyle of just deleting each other, ending up dead. These are extremely, extremely troubled kids. That's how they all start off. They not jumping. Most of them ain't jumping off the porch just willy. None of them. They ain't jumping off the porch just willy-nilly at 18. Oh, yeah. Like they live a normal life up until they 18 and just decide to be a gangster or something. It don't go down like that. Even that guy, Bloodhound, he jumped off the porch later in his life. What was he, like 16 or 18? But before that, he had seen you gonna see a lot of that in Chicago. You're gonna see a lot of traumatic stuff in Chicago. It's a good chance you are gonna see it. So I look at this primarily and firstly, as neglect from the people who govern society, period. Because if I governed society, it wouldn't be like this. It wouldn't exist. It wouldn't be happening. Most of these youngsters right here, and this is just like in 2011, 2012, most of them are dead already. And was dead by like 2020. In any other case with any other group of people, this would be looked at as a population of traumatized youths. But they primarily, they look at us, FBA, you're degenerates. You're the subhumans that you have always been said to be. And look, you have the right to look at it like that. I don't look at it like that. Don't look at it like that. So, Duck was big and was like a bully. And he orchestrated beating up Vaughn, from what I understand. Told Butter to beat him up. But a bunch of people, it said, to put hands on Vaughn. And maybe even Duck, seeing that Vaughn starts stalking him. Vaughn starts stalking the dudes that jumped him, man. So I'm pointing that out to point out it wasn't just no random like serial killer type thing. This wasn't no Jeffrey Dahmer type thing. Oh, I'm just looking for somebody to delete. He was focusing on rival gang members and primarily people who was involved in putting hands on him. Now, eventually he did turn into, I think, a CK. Even by his own admission, even Dirk said it. He said, I turned a serial killer into a rapper. But I'm talking about the seed that was planted and what started it. And that was the case with all these young. And you look at them when they're real young, they had already seen how many deaths. They ain't even gone through puberty yet. Now, how many family members killed? Y'all just want to jump in and pass judgment on the whole population. And don't tell me the music ain't got nothing to do with it. The music fuel it. If you disagree, then why is it that the crime rate went up in the UK after the people in the UK picked up drill. After they started to embrace drill, they saw it was an easy way. I mean, if you ain't got nothing else going for your life, and you find out that you can go viral, all you gotta do is put in some work and rap about it. You'll blow up and be a famous rapper. Yeah, a lot of people gonna do it. But the music fueled them. It fueled violence. Music fueled violence. Don't tell me. Let me play y'all a snippet here of 50 Cent, one of the gangster rappers, paved the way for drill. Listen to the lyrics here.
Niggas in the pens gon' hear this and lose their mind. Come on, possessed by the music and use that 9.
Dudes in the pen gonna hear this and lose their mind. Come home possessed by the music and use that 9. That's right. Many of these dudes before drill get hyped up on rap music first and during the whole drill. That's how they get hyped. That's how they fuel up. Don't tell me the music is straight up witchcraft. It's magic. That's what it's for, to motivate you. Motivate you. And what they talking about. And where did this start? The people who govern society, the letter boys. See, it's coonish to give that a pass. I wag my finger at the victims because I believe we can sidestep all of these traps. But they had to get the fathers out of there first. And now it don't even matter that if a father is there because he didn't grow up with a father. What happened in the 60s and 70s, it like permanently hurt fatherhood, black fatherhood. To the point where you may have grown up without your father, but you stayed in your kid's life. But you don't know how to be a proper father because you didn't grow up with one. So it's like the black men who are fathers, stayed in their kids' life, they forced to start over. They don't have the benefit of that continuity of fathers passing the lessons and everything down to them, the life lessons and everything, because those black males had to learn life through hands-on experience, where they'd be far more efficient had they had the game passed down by their fathers. And then they passed it down there. So they broke the fatherhood continuity. And the people who govern society know full well that young boys idolize grown black men. And that whatever type of grown black man they put on the TV, and I'm saying TV because that's when this started. That's when this started. Whatever type of grown black man they put as the head of our culture, which was our music. Stop playing dumb. Our music was the culture. In Black America, you've always been most respected if you live the life that they rapping about in these songs. That's especially the case with so-called gangster rap. But with drill, it was mandatory. It ain't even drill if you capping in all your raps. Right? You just a throwback studio gangster at that point. And those still pop up. But now you have this incentive. And it's somehow all legal. You can blow up as a rapper, just put in work. And notice how they made the law where you can't charge people for what they say in a rap song. That was more incentive to put their work in raps. and benefit off it. Get the views and whatnot. NWA, created by the people who govern society. I'm not giving that no pass. Again, it's coonish if you don't wag your finger at the people who govern society as well. Because you're saying that, hey, it's just acceptable. People are just supposed to do things to us. Set traps for us. No, leave us alone. Don't create no goofy and invest. They not only created gangster rap, they invested gazillions of dollars that we, the black people, didn't have. They decided where our music was going to go, both rap and R&B. You understand? You coonish if you give that a pass. I don't care what you talking about, because it just don't make no sense. They knew whatever type of black male they put up there was going to be idolized. And look at how many women supported it. They wanted a drug dealer. They didn't care. He got money. Oh, he got gold teeth. He got the nice cars, the rims, just like the rappers on TV. It's to the point now where the black community, so-called black community, is led by single black mothers. It's cartoonish. Where you got black boys believing they're supposed to be millionaires by the time they're 21 years old. And they got so much pressure to fill, this fake fantasy that they willing to do crazy stuff. Increased chance they end up dead or in prison. No, I don't give that a pass. And what is with all this infusion with Satanism into our music, in our culture? Why do so many people get at a pass? Gangster rap was a creation. It was creation. And if you don't know, slap yourself. If you're not even aware of that, slap yourself. They don't treat these communities like communities full of child killers. That's why I don't like, first of all. That's the first problem I got with it. All right? Music is highly influential. If they really, it's so bad that even the rappers themselves involved in it, making the raps and putting in the work. It's so bad now, even the rappers themselves saying, we got to stop doing this. Let's stop mentioning the dead. Let's stop dissing the dead. I'm not saying all of them, but you had a few of them come out and say that. Just look at the comment section of many of these. You see several people on this page. Now, you got this motivation to commit crimes in Black America. It's set in place by the people who govern society, created, manufactured, put in place to motivate young black males to get involved in criminal activities. Also factor in the creation of poverty, the generational Jim Crow black codes, the destruction of countless towns, businesses, housing policies where poverty was created. Factor that in as well, because so-called criminal activity emerges in those conditions as well. On top of the creation, I mean, when you just had poverty, you saw how bad the Irish were. And they didn't have the people who govern society create and promote to the youth, the kids, some gangster music where you instructing the artists to glorify blowing each other's brains out. Hey, as long as it's in the rap, it'll sound cool. People won't care. They'll look at it as art, you see. But no, the most respected people is the people who live what they rap about in them songs. You even heard King Von himself say that me and T-Roy are the ones these rappers be rapping about. And he took great joy in that. He listened to that music. It was fuel for what he was doing. So there's fuel, like incentive, for Black Americans to get involved in criminal activity. And still, even with that apparatus that other groups don't have, they still have higher crime rate. Explain that. Explain that. And I'm pointing that out because people always want to bring up our criminal activity. No, it's time to have discussions about these cities in South America. They got a much higher crime rate per 100,000 people. Enough discussions about Chicago. Let's talk about y'all cities, these cities. I won't say y'all, these cities in Venezuela, in Mexico, in Brazil, with a much higher crime rate. But something's wrong with us. We got some type of mental defect, just us here in Black America, when we got to deal with an artificial culture that was artificially created to help promote and increase violent activity between ourselves. And even still, even with that, the added apparatus that other people don't have, our crime rate is not as high. It's not even in the top 10. So that's how I look at gangsters and gang life here in the United States. Now, some people might say, hey, your view on it is influenced by the fact that you're Black American and you grew up in it. And, that is true. But I think that gives me more credibility. I'm fair. I don't care what nobody think. I'm a fair person. And I know that these are a bunch of traumatized, they all start out as traumatized kids. How am I supposed to tell them how to be? All you can do is hope for the best. But if you govern society, you can make all kinds of changes. Like, look, y'all can't be rap. They could have never, how about that? How about never creating gangster rap to begin with? We would have kept boogieing and doing our thing. How about that? How about you just leave us alone and let us continue to make our happy rap music and rap songs, our party songs? How about that? And let's see how we turn out that way. Other groups don't have an artificially created music genre forced on them, invested gazillions of dollars in it, where they talking about kill a Hindu, kill a China, blow a Chinese man. You got songs and choruses and all this kind of crazy mess, glorifying it, putting diamonds, giving these rappers these expensive cars and stuff. Of course, what I'm saying is leave us alone. How about that? Yes, we should, because I think it's easy for us to sidestep all that. It's easy for us to, it's possible. But listen, man, under single Black mothers, these boys are not being taught the importance of like community, unity, value Black life, no stuff like that. That's foreign in these black households. That's where it starts. And what are they dealing with at home? At even younger years, before they grow up and see all this violence, what are they dealing with then? Many of them dealing with an abusive mother, an extremely abusive mother in many of these households, raising them on this degenerative, demonic music and all that. And it's sad to see the gangs in the condition they are today. Because they started out, the intent was positive, even though they were being heavily infiltrated by people who govern the society, gangs. That's why you find a bunch of Freemasonry and stuff in the gangs, and the hand signs and the symbols, teachings. Gangster disciples, for example. From what I understand, King Von was never a gangster disciple. I think Duck even confirmed that Von never claimed to be a gangster disciple. But Von was a black disciple, right? You know, gangster disciples, you know, GD actually stands also for growth and development. Growth and development. And that's, you know, it's sad. I don't see much growth and development. There has been no growth and development. There are actually some positive teachings within these so-called gangs that y'all like to denigrate and use to demonize black Americans with. You know, like I said, the violence back in the 60s and 70s, 50s, used to primarily have to do with financial issues and disputes, which is, of course, more understandable. Now it's been infused with more just petty, senseless dust-ups, disrespect. You disrespected me, my set. It's a lot more petty now. Even got so petty where, hey, we just keeping score. We just deleting each other, taking each other out just to see who can have a higher score. It's a game. Getting us a lot of attention, probably getting us some bread, you know. Easy way to become a rapper. Remember, Bloodhound straight up told you, yeah, it's a good idea to take people out because all you gotta do is rap about it and you can blow up as a rapper and be rich. He straight up said it. Why is there an avenue like that even available for him? There's a whole lot of assistance from the society itself that shouldn't be there. Yes, I'm all for personal accountability. I was able to sidestep the gang life. But everybody involved wish they homies was still alive. They all wish their homies were still alive. The rappers, they wish they were still here making music. Wondering, what their music would sound like today. At the end of the day, it's a negative life to live. So why isn't the people who govern the society making an honest attempt to change it, to put a stop to it? They're not. They're trying to make it worse. Remember, when drill first started, they instantly supported it. The major record companies instantly endorsed it and put money behind it. Started giving them record deals and all that. Who started drill? Where I looked that up before, and I heard it was, I found it was somebody named Pac-Man, right? Pac-Man, it's a drill. You can look it up, see what you find. But from what I found, this is supposedly the first drill song or whatever. But I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. But this was uploaded after Duck's song. If I'm not mistaken, FBG Duck pioneered drill. What is it? Wait a minute. Let me see here. Let's see, maybe 2011. It's 2011 or 2012. This video right here. 13 years ago. This was the first drill song, from what I understand. Right? From what I understand. At Flyboy Gang, Duck Wild Out. A real short song. And it was like overlooked. It was overlooked. This one got more, and that's another thing. In rap, just like in these cults, the idea is to have sacrifices. Human sacrifices. And in drill, it's like a thing to make a song right after somebody's passing. Especially when you're one of your ops. That's what it's based on. Do a drill and immediately make a song about it. Rap about it. And they say, rumor is, this video dropped the day of O.D. Perry's passing, if I'm not mistaken. The same day of O.D. Perry's passing. So this is just a straight up demonic. So they like use the death. You can see it's like witchcraft. Real human sacrifice. And that'll sort of give you a boost. And this song did pretty good numbers from what I understand. This is not the original posting right here. The original posting, I think, was 13 years ago. I think they dropped this 2011 or 2012. But I don't see many people pointing that out or pointing at FBG Duck as like the pioneer, if I'm not mistaken, like the pioneer of drill rap. Why was high-ranking government officials hauling military-grade weaponry to this area almost immediately around this time? We supposed to give that a pass too? They running around with weapons that they're not even supposed to own, that's only used in like war, that they using over there in Iraq. In no other situation would you give government involvement a pass. It only gets a pass when we're dealing with black American males. Nah, that ain't gonna fly over here. We owe reparations for a whole lot of stuff. Add this into it. After, generations of impoverishment, just have not stopped, non-stopped, bothering us. This ain't no handout. If other people qualify for reparations, have already received it, still received it, there really ain't nothing to talk about. Don't tell me we don't need repair. I don't care how well you're doing financially. That just means you should be far wealthier than you are now. You got $1 million in the bank? Well, if history wasn't full of attacking us economically, you might have 5 million in the bank right now. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to hear none of your, and I'm sort of responding to this right here. And I will never stop objecting to this narrative that I've never experienced racism.
So all these mythical things that y'all make up, or these people that y'all reference, I have never been affected by white supremacy or the KKK in my life. This is too.
No, that's not necessary. No. No. How is that? That's disrespectful to your own. If he's, I don't even think he's Black American. I don't even know. I've heard people saying he's not, but I don't know. But there are Black Americans who say this. That's disrespectful to your ancestors. Generationally, may have gone through hell, lost all kinds of businesses, right? Rather than just you. Okay, you're wealthy, you're doing well. What about your family? What about your brothers? What about your siblings? Maybe they would be as well, had history not unfolded the way it has. Listen, there is no argument against reparations. None. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. It's justified. Maybe y'all have an argument if reparations wasn't already being given to other people, like they have been and still are. If essentially resources were not given to other people. This hauling in of immigrants, illegal and not, and giving them all of our resources from our tax dollars, that was just out of disrespect. Letting us know, yeah, we got the resources. We could have granted you reparations. This is a respect and principle issue and an economic issue. As a group, as a population, we have been set back. And I mean all of us. I don't want to hear nothing from none of you. I don't care if you Oprah or how much money you get. You probably be independent, not so much of a puppet, had we not been attacked. And all of you, most of you, rich and wealthy, you're puppets. Maybe you wouldn't be a puppet and have somebody in control of your very existence and basically condemned your whole soul to hell had we not been attacked the way that we have. Because see, that's the result of you being dependent on their power structure. Made it mandatory that you sell your flipping soul for that money. I don't want to hear nothing about how you, if you're a Black American, have not been affected by racism, white supremacy, you coon crashing out. And I'll leave it there.